Yo guys, I recently made a tweet asking you all to reply with placements from recent solo cash cups so I could take a look over the games and identify common mistakes that keep people from earning in solos. I had a lot of fun doing this and would like to do it a few more times in the future. So if you're not already, go ahead and follow me on my other socials for a chance to have me look over your games for free and be featured in a video. If this video helps you guys, don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get right into it. Alright guys, so in this first game that we're going to be watching today, this is from Faded Pigeon on EU. I'm sure a lot of you guys know who that is. If you keep up with Fortnite comp, follow a lot of streamers. In this game, he got a 12 kill second, and I think that he made one critical error here towards the end of the game that wound up costing him pretty much the entire game, right? You know, solo victory, cash cup finals, we're going for a win to get that 100 beans, so we got to win the game. It's win or nothing, right? So he does a really good job. He's picking up refreshes. We got like 19 builds going into his final zone, so not the best situation, also not the worst. We're still in a, you know, we got lots of heals. Like we have the win condition for the heal off settled. So there's just a very small mistake that occurs here on this next rotate that you guys are about to see in just a second, and I'll point it out as soon as it happens. So here we leave the box. We're trying to maintain a side of zone. We also see that there's a player in front of us. He's going to go ahead and box low ground. Now, the mistake is going to occur right here. So we want to get aggressive on this player. Like, we're trying to take a fight because we don't have a lot of builds, and we're trying to claim like a power layer, right? We're trying to claim low ground. The only issue here is that we make a poor zone read. So on these types of zone pulls where zone is pulling diagonally like this, you have what's referred to as an opening side and a closing side. And this is because the way that zones work is they don't actually move in a straight line. Like the white line that you see on the minimap does not mirror the zone's actual movement. So you have to understand what's actually occurring with the zone mechanics. So when this zone is pulling diagonally, you'll see as we watch the replay, it actually spins and rotates. So with this zone pulling diagonally to the right, the left side of the zone is actually the opening side. So if we had cut across zone here, we would have been on the front side, and this kid that we're trying to fight would have been behind us, and it would have been a really free, easy elimination and a really easy way to pick up low ground and potentially win this game. Because as you guys will see from watching the rest of the clip, he goes on to get second in this game due to a really poor trade that he took on the kid that got third. So go ahead and play the rest of it out, and you guys can see that real quick. So there's the trade. And then Height is able to just drop down. Really good awareness off of the Height kid to understand that low ground has been cracked. I can drop down, hit a shotgun shot, and go ahead and win this game. Now, I do want to point something out. In order to avoid this, guys, I already went over the zone mechanics so that you guys can understand. Basically, whenever zone is pulling diagonally, the opposite side that the zone is pulling diagonally to, so let's say that it's pulling diagonally to your right, well then the left side or the top side is going to be the opening side, whereas the right side or the bottom side is going to be the closing side, and vice versa, right? Another thing, when you guys hit those zone transitions, so you're going from 9 to 10 zone, you're going from 10 to 11 zone, you're going from 11 to 12 zone. Always, always, always pull up your minimap. Make sure you mark, right? This should be part of our scouting in every single zone transition. It'll help you do a better job of reading zones. And this is the advice that I actually went ahead and sent to Faded Pigeon in DMs after watching this. All right, guys. So in this next clip here, we are going to have Aimski. We get another 12 kill second. So a lot of 12 kill seconds out of you guys. Kind of feeling the pain. You know, you're getting a ton of kills, but not quite finishing up those games the way that we need to, right? But I digress. Another mistake here that we're going to see is another fairly common one, lack of awareness surrounding the final situation and exactly what to do here. So we'll go ahead and run the tape, take a look back at what we think the mistake is here. We get a nice kill here. Now, from this point, we're in a top 3 situation, okay? And the biggest thing that we need to understand here is that we are the person in the middle, right? So we don't have any information that's telling us that right now. This is information that's obviously more freely available to us in the replays. So trying to put ourselves in the player's position. But at this point, right, we've just gotten another kill. Final zone. We should know we're getting down to the last couple of people, right? And we're looking around. We've got 5 builds, and we can see that we're not like fully low ground here. So we can safely assume that there's going to be somebody under us. And with only having like 5 builds left here, once we start like making these builds out, we need to start looking at low ground, because we don't have the build. Like, it's pulling up a mountain here. If we make our zone reads properly, it's pulling up a mountain here, and we don't have the mats to get up, and we don't have the mats to contest for height, right? But there is another player alive, so we need to go ahead and claim that power layer, because we're in a top 3 situation. So we need to claim a power layer to try to go ahead and win this game. So we'll go ahead and play the rest of this out. We'll see what happens. So we do end up picking up the kill on low ground, and then we instantly try to start playing heal off, but height, again, very good awareness off of height, hearing the crack come in, understanding the situation. So what could we have done differently here? Well, it's just the timing. We wasted too much time trying to play out the rest of our mats when we didn't have enough to finish this game out. We still had another 20 seconds on the zone pull. We only had 5 builds. It's pulling up a mountain. It's a top 3 situation. We have to go ahead and contest the power layer, and the only real power layer we had an opportunity to contest was low ground. And then even when our player here dropped, we weren't even paying attention. We weren't looking behind us. We didn't clear the layer, so we took unnecessary damage when we did finally drop down. So, you know, speed, aggression, when you're in these top 3 situations at the very end of the game, you need to go ahead and claim one of those power layers, go ahead and get that out of the way, and then you can play the top 2 situation however you see fit. Alright guys, so next up we're going to be taking a look at a 2 kill second from Frostmon. And so this is something that I think I see a lot of people do, especially people who are definitely not as confident at fighting and want to play a more placement-based playstyle. You can see throughout the end game, we're not really going for anything. Like, throughout the entirety of this end game, Frost just finds a bunch of like extra loot, navigating a bunch of like old builds or building his own tarps low ground. But he's never opening edits. Like, he's never looking to shoot people in the back. He's never playing aggressive, right? And so because of this, as he goes throughout the entirety of this end game, you're gonna have to build. He does a good job, you know, rotating through old builds, utilizing old tarps and that kind of stuff. But it simply isn't enough to go through almost an entire end game not getting a kill. Now, the argument or the purpose for getting refreshes earlier rather than later is because earlier in the game, people are more stacked, so those refreshes have a bigger impact. They mean more. So, for instance, if we were to get a refresh right now, we could click around the lobby and we could say, we kill Jago Crazy YT. We get 29 builds, plus we get Siphon, we get 45. We add that to our total of 53, and now we're the best mats in the lobby, right? Because we're about 100 builds total. So we would outmat literally everybody else in this lobby. But as you can see, you know, here we are, 10th zone. Majority of the lobby is going to have anywhere from 30 total builds all the way up to our most stacked player. Where was he? Chubbs with 111. And as you can see, this is a really good demonstration here, because you can see on the timeline, Chubbs actually did just get a kill. And at 111 builds, this is where you can really afford to play the rest of the game out with basically nothing. But he continues to go on. You can see through the timeline, Chubbs, you know, continues to frag, and great player, outstanding player that way. So you'll see how this impacts Frost as we move on through the rest of the end game. But yeah, like I said, you know, playing aggressive early, 8th, 9th, 10th zone, when people are, you know, when people are still stacked, that's when you really want to be aggressive. That's when you want to be taking a little bit more risk for those refreshes, because if you can start an in-game 5-5-5 in solos with cap medkits and then heals to deal with storm sickness mechanics, like, you'll win that game, right? So That's the biggest mistake here, not refreshing early enough. I'll play out the rest of the end game so you guys can see exactly how this played out and see how this impacted him. Because he does take a zone tick at the end of this game that you guys will be able to see. So we'll go ahead and skip ahead a little bit. It's more of just rotating and playing boxes. So now we're in a worse situation. 3 builds, navigating low ground. We kind of just got to play shotgun out. We're able to almost pick up the elimination there, but unable to fully seal. And now we're kind of just panicking, right? Could have held for backside zone and gotten a lot, but now we have to take a zone tick. So that's something that you never want to do in solos, guys, because when you go to heal off, if you have to take a zone tick, if somebody else has played the game perfectly, you will not win that game unless you have heals to deal with storm sickness, and they don't. We'll go to 4x so you guys can see how the rest of this goes. Pretty free on low ground just because it's pulling like past the hill. And there's a bunch of like old builds people would have to navigate through to go play that layer. He does get dropped on the backside, gets a bit more mats there. Fast forward, get into heal off because this is all just play mats, get the heal off, play a heal off slightly early. And look at that name that we're seeing again, guys. I do believe Chubbs wins this game, actually. And we're about to get hit with storm sickness. And there you go. There goes storm sickness. So, as you guys can see, the zone take definitely hurt us there. Chubbs probably wins that anyway, just based off of his white HP. But, like I said, that zone take definitely hurt us. And then there is another tip that you guys are going to see from another game that there as well. All right, so I'm watching a 5-kill fourth from Noah Rooney here. This is something that is honestly like pretty painful to watch, just because there's very like one simple thing that he could have done here that would have changed the outcome of this entire game. So we can make a read that the person that is up on height is going to be low on builds because of the way that they were playing around our box before. And he's up on 1 build right now. So this is not a bad side jump play. Go for the side jump off the fizz. We connect here with the 29 tag. As soon as you shoot here, instead of building 2 walls, just cone him. And then you can place the walls and you can go up, right? But you need to be able to stop him, stop his momentum, stop him from going up so that you can secure height. He's already out of builds, right? Which we can infer from the way that he was behaving prior, just jumping around on our box and everything. And then he can't make this side jump play. So very simple, like just build mistake to focus on going straight up as opposed to first obstructing the opponent's path and then going up. But yeah, very simple mistake and probably a free high ground and free win had you just cone this guy here. All right, guys. So in this next clip here, we're going to have Sinister FN. We're looking here at another game where we got second, 7 kills here. And honestly, the mistake here from Sinister after watching this game was a relatively simple one. He's already a very good player. And honestly, in my opinion, he played this end game nearly perfectly. Didn't take zone ticks. 6 medkits right at the end of the game. What wound up actually being the difference here was his loadout. So as you can see right now, Sinister obviously has 6 medkits. He's going to get a few more kills throughout the end game, which is going to replenish the heals that he is using currently, because as you can see, he is not full HP. He did take a little bit of a trade on this elimination. But as we click around the lobby, there is another particular player in here who has a very interesting loadout that ends up making a difference at the end of the game. So here you can see this guy. I have no idea how to pronounce this. I'm not even going to try. I don't even know if this is Chinese or Japanese symbols, to be honest with you guys. But regardless, that's not even the point. The point here is to take a look at his loadout, right? So he's got 3 medkit, 2 chug splashes, and 4 floppers. Something that's really common, obviously, is almost everyone in solos at this point is carrying medkits. So if you are confident enough to get a kill or to be aware enough to find some extra loot at the end of the game, then you will be able to find those extra medkits. And it's actually a decently solid strategy to sub out a stack of medkits for something like floppers or splashes, so you can deal with the storm sickness mechanic at the end of the heal off. Because we are at a point now in the meta where if you are not preparing to deal with storm sickness, you're behind, because these games are all, the majority of the time when it goes to heal off, there's multiple people that are going to have 6 med kits, and what it comes down to is who took storm ticks and who's got whites to deal with storm sickness. Now, standard med kits are not going to deal with storm sickness the way that you need them to in order to win the heal off, because they simply don't heal you for enough. So the way storm sickness works is that it will increase the damage of the storm, as well as every so often dealing an additional very strong tick, and then after 15 seconds of storm sickness, you will instantly die. So now, obviously, the 15-second rule at the very end makes it important for you guys to still make sure that you're not taking ticks. But if you guys can get to the point where you guys start ticking storm sickness, even if you have 1, 2 floppers, some splashes, you guys will most likely win those heal offs. So that's what you need to start doing, and that was the mistake from Sinister here. He did not have those extra white heals, those quickly healing white heals. A flopper is going to heal you for 40 HP within 2 ticks, and then splashes, obviously, with every single tick, you're going to be healing 20 HP, so very, very strong there. Basically equates to about the same as a flopper, because you're taking, 2 seconds to pop, about 2 seconds to pop the flopper, and then it's going to take you about 2 seconds to pop 2 splashes. So either one works, but you guys need to make sure that you are preparing to handle storm sickness, because we are getting to a point in the meta where people are good enough to get to those end games, get to that heal off portion with the 6 med kits that they need in order to win. So if everything else is even, you guys want to make sure that you're prepared for every single eventuality.